Hello, this is a step-by-step instructional video for the post-installation troubleshooting and adjustments on the 1999 to 2003 Jaguar Xk8 and Xj8 series throttle bodies. First, you need to disconnect the negative battery terminal to make sure you don't send any power surges through the system while installing or removing any electronics. Once it's disconnected, you can put your throttle body back on the vehicle. Be sure to replace the base gasket to ensure that you don't have any air leaks, vacuum leaks, or cause any problems down the road. This has to be replaced. You can get it at a parts store. Once that's replaced, you can put mount your throttle body back to the intake manifold securely with the 4 bolts. And once the throttle body is installed and secured to the intake manifold, you need to inspect the wiring harnesses on the vehicle side for any corrosion, debris, etc. A contact cleaner, brake cleaner works well to clean any loose debris out prior to plugging anything up. So make sure that on your vehicle side of the wiring harnesses, you're just double checking everything to make sure that you're going to make good contact and everything's going to seat well. On the pedal position sensor side, which is right here where the throttle cable hooks in, hooking the throttle cable up is fairly easy. However, you may need to make minor adjustment to it. You want to make sure the cable is not so tight that it holds the throttle open, but not too loose that you step on the accelerator and the pedal position sensor doesn't move. This is just a little piece of cable here. You want to make sure that it's not so loose that when you step on the pedal, it does this and it's not moving, or that it's so tight that it holds the pedal position sensor open like that. The easiest way to do it is to go ahead and spin your pedal position sensor like so when it's mounted on there, and then just go ahead and hook your cable in and let it come back down to rest. You want to make sure that this isn't too tight and it's not too loose. It should have a little bit of play in it. As far as the throttle position sensor goes, you need to inspect the wiring harness on the vehicle side of this for tin colored pins inside here, silver in color. There's a TSB, or a technical service bulletin, out for this particular issue. The TSB number is 303-58, and the date on that is November 1st of 2002. This TSB says to replace the factory wiring harness using OEM replacement harness, which had gold colored pins inside the plug. This can cause issues due to different metal types and will cause fault codes to be set in the system. So what you need to do is inspect the wiring harness and the pins in here. If they're tin in color, which this one is, then this one needs to be replaced using a factory harness with gold colored pins in there. The different types of metal between this and the gold colored pins in the TPS will create issues, and once you get that taken care of, or if it is already taken care of, you go ahead and plug up all your electronics, get everything set. Once you do that, you need to go ahead and reset the entire system. A hard reset is very simple. What you need to do is remove both the battery cables. Since you already have the negative removed, go ahead and remove the positive, and then you're going to hold the cable ends together, touching the cable ends together for about 30 seconds. Once the 30 seconds is over, go ahead and replace the battery cables. Go ahead and put them back on the battery. You want to get in the vehicle, put the key in the ignition, turn the key to the on position with the engine off, and let it sit like that and initialize for about 60 seconds. Once it's initialized for about 60 seconds, you go ahead and start the vehicle. Once you started the vehicle, you want to make sure that your check engine light goes off. It's idling normally. Should be anywhere between 650 750 RPMs. If it's anything lower than that or anything higher than that, then you may need to make a minor adjustment on the TPS. That's very simple, and I'll walk through that here in just a moment. So what we have on the TPS is you have 2 Torx 20 screws. This is a spring-loaded TPS. As you can see, you've got room on either side to move it. Once we rebuild these in our facility, we try to set them back to OEM specifications, but depending on vehicle mileage, engine wear, things like that, this may need to be adjusted just a little bit in order to get the vehicle to run properly. So what we do is you're going to hold the pressure on the TPS so that when you loosen it up, it doesn't spring back. And you're going to loosen up the screws on either side. You don't want to remove them all the way. They don't have to come all the way out. Like I said, this is a spring loaded. And if you have a little bit of a high idle, you want to move the TPS counterclockwise a little bit. If you have a low idle, you want to move it clockwise a little bit. Once you get it moved just a couple of degrees, you'll go ahead and tighten them back down. Once you get that tightened back down, you need to reset the system. Every time you make an adjustment, there's a problem with it, the check engine light is on, something like that, you have to reset the system between every cycle. Otherwise, it's going to hold the faulty memory in the system, and it's going to make it seem like you're not getting anywhere. Again, removing the negative and positive battery cable from the battery, holding the ends together, for 30 seconds, putting them back on the battery, and then initializing the system with the key on, engine off for 60 seconds. If you continue to have problems, you have a check engine light, there's codes coming up on your dash, something like that, you need to take this to a certified mechanic or a dealer and have them diagnose it professionally. There are scan tools that they make for these Jaguars, the IDS software and WDS software, AutoLogic. There are some aftermarket, very few aftermarket tools that work appropriately for these Jaguars, such as a Snap-on, as long as it has the correct software that you can use to reset the fault codes and read the correct fault codes. If you're using an incorrect scanner or a generic scanner, a majority of the time it will throw erroneous codes, which means codes that don't necessarily relate to anything on the throttle body. Once that is complete, if they determine there's an issue with the throttle body, or they can't get it adjusted properly, you can't get a code to clear, something like that, what you need to do is you can contact us toll free at 1-866-983-6688, or you can visit us on the web at www.autoecu.com for technical assistance and troubleshooting through our knowledge base. If you have any further questions, comments, concerns, you can get us to either of those places, and we will be more than happy to help you out with this.